get right today?
You know, it was a big game for us for sure. We've lost 2 in a row. I think we're 87-4 at home over the last 91 games. It's pretty good. You lose one, it hurts because you're not used to losing. And, you know, it hurts our guys. They understand the tradition that we have. They understand how unbelievable our fans are and what McHale Center means to Tucson, to our team, to past players. It's bigger than just a 40-minute basketball game when you play here. So when you lose, you feel like you're letting a lot of people down. Most importantly, you feel like you're letting yourself down, this team down. So nobody felt good about what we did against Baylor. Some of it was self-inflicted. Some of it is a matter of circumstances. But you can only control the response, and we moved forward. And I think a couple things we talked a lot about leading into tonight's game, and that is that we have to be a hard playing together group. We don't have the room for error to pick and choose, have segments of the game where we're disconnected, whether that be team defense, whether that be zone offense. And tonight we didn't have a great offensive night, but I have no doubt that we played with maximum effort on defense. And I thought Dylan Smith, although statistically he didn't have a big game, he was amazing on defense. He reminded me so much of Kadeem Allen, taking whoever he guarded out of the game and showing outstanding effort. When you do that, especially as a perimeter player, it's contagious. Others have to follow because you look at that guy who's giving everything he has on that side of the ball. So Dylan's been on track to be that type of player on this year's team, and I think that's a role that he has to embrace and be able to do it day in, day out, game in, game out. Our offense will improve. We have a lot of new faces in different roles. Confidence is a part of this, and we have a few players that are certainly better shooting, taking care of the ball than maybe they've shown recently, and that's kind of where we're at as a group right now. So hopefully we can have a couple more good days, be ready for a very good UC Davis team, and then conclude our non-conference schedule. You know, our non-conference schedule is filled with a lot of quality opponents, several which have beaten us, and several in which we have beaten. And no doubt it's preparing us for what's to come, and it's really allowing us to learn a lot about ourselves. So the things that we need to fix, we are going to be hard at work to fix them. I think the things that we're learning that are our strengths, we have to grow those and keep those. For example, one of the strengths of this year's team is we could play long stretches without turnovers. Part of what you felt tonight watching the game is our inability to score. We had 16 turnovers against a team that really doesn't force a lot. So if you just look at 16 and make that number 10, 12, then all of a sudden you get more shots at the basket. Now the scores may be in the 70s, which isn't great, but it's a far cry from the low 60s. We're not good enough to turn it over 16 times on offense and then have maybe a couple guys not shooting it well. It's a struggle, but we're going to win with our defense. We have to be a team that people admire our cohesiveness and our effort, and we have to scheme, and just in terms of technique, we got to be great. I've never coached a team that's drawn more charges than this year's team at Arizona. We have multiple guys doing it, and again, when guys draw the charge, that says a lot about them and kind of what we're trying to grow and what we're trying to build. But I'm proud of our team's effort, and to answer your question in the most long-winded answer ever, we worked hard to bounce back, and I look at us doing that, and now we have to do it again here on Saturday.
You got the ball out into Chase early. How important was it to establish him inside?
You know, Chase is a good player. He really is. He didn't have a great night against Baylor. A lot of that was because of us, coaches and his teammates. We just weren't able to really get him the ball. Maybe Chase himself against that type of defense, that was like the first time he'd seen it. So maybe he wasn't himself. But I do think that if we can get him the ball consistently, that good things will happen. I mean, he's delivered now. We have, 12 games we've played. He's played against some really good players and teams. And if you look at his shooting percentage, points per game, rebounds. He's having a very good non-conference season. He really is. And we have to just continue to develop him.
What's your decision behind putting Dylan in the lineup behind instead of Brandon and Williams? And is Brandon hurt or off otherwise, or what's going on?
You know, the day before the Baylor game, his knee hit head-on with Justin Coleman's. And at first we didn't know, how serious it was. It has nothing to do with a pre-existing condition. But it is that knee that he dealt with in high school, so it tends to swell up if he has a contusion or sometimes just through wear and tear. But he's structurally sound. He has no injury. But because it swelled up, we've really taken him out of practices. Watching him in the Baylor game, he gave it his best, but he wasn't 100%. That hurt our team, and it's not fair to Brandon to not at least acknowledge that he wasn't 100% when he played. So we're looking at him of being smart practices, limiting him. That's why I didn't play him as much down the stretch, just to make sure he's all set. But I think each day gets a little bit better. But when you're a freshman, you have a big role. Your team needs you to play well, and you have a situation where you're injured. You could see where his shooting and you can lose confidence. But he's going to bounce back. I think he'll be healthier against UC Davis than he was even tonight. It was great to have him out there, and he's not at any further risk because it's just a contusion.
You got something out of DeAndre? What you like? What didn't you like?
We have to play DeAndre more. He's slowly but surely coming around every day in practice. What I love about DeAndre is he has innate confidence. He's not out there trying to not make a mistake. He's out there playing, and he has a lot of talent. As he gets stronger and more experienced, the better days are ahead for DeAndre, and he knows that. But on this year's team, I think we're now at a point where allowing him to grow and play more minutes makes a lot of sense. And it was good to get him in the game tonight. And we've planned on doing that. It's just we've been in a couple tough games recently at Alabama, Baylor, and sometimes when you're that 9th or 10th guy, the window doesn't open for you. But right now, we're better to play him a segment because he's going to give us energy and effort. I love his attitude, and confidence is a big deal, and he has it.
You didn't shoot the ball well from the perimeter, but before the season started, did you think that you'd have issues from the perimeter?
I did. I do think we can hit our stride where we have a lot of guys taking and making good shots. But that's part of it, and that's some of it's coaching. Some of it is just guys really playing with confidence, and then some of it is execution as well. It's tough to make bad shots. Looking back at the Baylor game, it's hard to admit this, but we took 17 no qualms bad shots. That's about as many as you can take in a single game. Some of it, though, wasn't because the player took an ill-advised shot. It was just the circumstances surrounding nothing. Someone had to take it because we didn't have a lot of ball movement, but 17 bad shots. We took much better shots tonight. Maybe we took a few bad ones, but we had 16 turnovers, so that hurt us.
In the second half, to start the second half, you were very aggressive, at least more aggressive in the second half than you were in the first half. You probably need to do that more often.
Mm-hmm. We got the ball to chase. You had 15 shots and 4 free throw attempts. And, as people crowd and trap him, he'll get more accustomed to using his dribble. He's almost playing it as if he has a dead dribble, like he can't, 2 people on him. And, that's experience. The more that he understands he can use his dribble to escape, again, the better. But it's kind of where we're at. That's the first time people are double teaming him or trapping him, and he'll get used to it.
Talking about DeAndre, where is defense been holding back, and where do you rate him now? I mean, are you more comfortable with where he is?
The hardest part from high school to college is defense. That would be the same for a Lowry Markkanen or DeAndre, Stanley Johnson. The one freshman that maybe had no problem with it was Aaron Gordon, but that was like his gift. It's hard to go from high school to college and the demands and how hard you have to play. So he's learning. He's so much better now than he was. But I thought he had a couple great moments defensively tonight. But that's what's going to get him on the court. And then when you could trust him on defense, and then all of a sudden he can give us more depth.
For players that you've recently coached, who does he remind you of?
It's hard to really compare because it just his build, where he is in terms of his physique, how much he weighs. He's not as far along as some of the guys that might come to mind, like a Rondé or those type of guys. But his upside is huge, and you see that. I know you see it when he gets in the game, and we see it every day in practice. But he's working really hard in the weight room. You don't go from, let's say his starting point was 165 to 190, but there's a big difference when he's out there at 175 or 180, and he's really working in that area.
Have you had a chance to watch any of the other Pac-12 schools play at all, and what's been your assessment with not a lot of elite teams jumping out yet in the Pac-12?
I haven't. I mean, we're consumed with ourselves. I'm aware of the scores, and I know there's a couple opportunities that maybe as a conference we weren't able to take advantage of. Put us in that as well, but can't control that. After Christmas, everybody has a brand new slate. We're 0-0, and it's up to us to be ready and improving and be one of those teams that can play our best basketball in January and February. That's certainly what we're going to try hard to do, and I thought tonight we took a step forward in doing that.
What do you hope to see from Ryan? He's obviously struggling offensively.
Ryan has to play with a belief and a confidence. He rebounded well tonight. He had 6. He had 4 offensive rebounds, but he's one of our team's best shooters. Before he came here, and even at times, he scored around the basket. I know he can do it. He has this situation with his hand, which every day that goes by, I think that will be gone. But he's in his own head right now, and the only thing that solves that is hard work and just making it happen in a game. But if you trace us closely, when he plays with confidence and plays well, that's when we've been at our best. At UConn, second half against Iowa State, second half against Utah Valley, he was a big part of our comeback, and a lot of just when we've played quality basketball, he's a part of it, and he'll return to that.
Technical adjustment seemed a little out of character for him, or what was your thought on that?
I didn't really see it, so just next play, has to move on. I don't think he meant anything by it. I think he flexed at somebody, growled at him.
Thanks.
Yep.